Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review. And just want to get a couple other reviews. I hope you're Bubs. What I'm trying to say is, I hope you're enjoying anime month so far. That's what I'm trying to say. But I also want to get a couple of other movie reviews in for my birthday month of June. So, and what better way to do that? Since this film came out June 14th back then, that's why I'm doing it today. That's why. And a film that came out back then when I saw this in the theater as a kid, and being a big fan of the cartoon, I really love. I love the cartoon growing up. I have explained it before. So, and I still enjoyed the film except for a couple of nitpicks though. But I still, as a whole, the film I still had fun, and still do to this day. So reviewing since this came out in 2002, it's been 18 years now, man. So that is a film of Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? Yeah, like I said, I love the Scooby-Doo cartoon growing up. I've seen a lot of from. Basically, since I was 5 years old. Basically, since I was 5. Love the Scooby-Doo, Where Are You cartoons. Then there's the new Scooby-Doo movie. What was called? There was the new Scooby-Doo movies. It was called. Then there was the Pup Named Scooby-Doo cartoons. Then there was the Scooby-Doo at the movies, where you get the celebrities. You know, like the Three Stooges, Batman, Robin, Don Knotts. Laura Hardy. Who else? Who other celebrities that were in the? I forgot. I've said it's been not long though, but like those celebrities. So, and seeing the old movies like Scooby-Doo and the Boo Brothers, and Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf, which I reviewed a while back. You can check out my review that I did review that long ago. I love the Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf. Then there's some of the Scooby-Doo direct-to-video movies, from which I reviewed, from Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, The Witch's Ghost, Cyber Chase, The Alien Invaders, and I reviewed some of the other newer direct-to-video ones too as well. So, yeah, I am a big fan of Scooby-Doo. My dad, when he enjoyed it when he was a kid growing up, he loved the Scooby-Doo cartoons, and I love Scooby-Doo. And I saw this back in theaters back in 2002, and I was really excited. I saw it, and I enjoyed it when I was a kid. So 18 years. By the time this is 29, it was I was only back about 11 when I saw this back then. Sheesh. But I enjoy the Scooby-Doo movie, and for the cast, for the most I think I thought the cast, our main cast here was really good. Especially, big part is Matthew Lillrad as Shaggy. He was to me, as I told my dad, he is a perfect Shaggy. I think originally they were gonna have Mike Myers and Jim Carrey can play Shaggy. It's interesting though, but I think that saying no one can play a better Shaggy than Matthew Lillrad. He knocked it out of the park as playing Shaggy. Norville Rogers, and which really enough after since Casey Kasem passed away, may he rest in peace. Which she was the original Shaggy, which I always enjoyed his voice as Shaggy back growing up, and sadly he's no longer with us. But then after all the newer direct-to-video movies, Matthew Lillrad took over. Lillrad continued to voice Shaggy in the newer direct-to-video movies, as well as the newer cartoons like Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated and Be Cool Scooby-Doo, and the other direct-to-video movies they did. So it was cool that Matthew Lillrad, he still got to continue to play Shaggy in those. So it was cool for that. He did a top-notch job as Shaggy. I don't know how much praise I get, because he is the perfect Shaggy. As the other ones, I have Freddie Prinze Jr. as Freddy. I never hated Freddie Prinze Jr. I liked him in a couple other things. I liked him in I Know What You Did last summer, and well, the sequel was bad though. But he was the best part of the movie for me though. I think he had more to do than he did in the first film. And then he was in that film called, what was it, Wing Commander, which also starred Matthew Lillard, really enough. I have to rewatch that movie again, though. Winged Commander. But I never really hated Freddie Prinze Jr. And of course, I know he voiced what was that character's name in the cartoon of Star Wars Rebels. He was I forget the character's name. I know who he is, but it was just he's the one who trained that young guy. But Freddie Prinze Jr. as Freddy, which I thought he did fine. I still think he did pretty decent as Freddy. Sarah Michelle Gellar as Daphne, which I know, her and Freddie Prinze Jr. they're married in real life, and during the time they're making this film, I think they were engaged, and later towards the end of 2002, that's when they got married. So yeah, they were practically engaged at the time when they made this movie. But I thought, growing up, I also think which also really enough that she would also star in with Freddie Prinze Jr. and also I Know What You Did Last Summer. And I never minded her in the show of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which I think that's why they want to make Daphne more fighting, kicking ass basically, because I think that's the reason why probably from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But I thought that she did fine. Growing up, when I first saw it, I thought she did fine as Daphne. And then Linda Cardellini, I thought she was pretty good as Velma too, which later she was starring in the MCU, playing Hawkeye's wife. But I thought she was also a perfect choice for as seeing her as Velma. And as for Scooby-Doo, okay, leading into which I'll get to that later, but I like the guy who voiced it was Fanning. Was it Neil Fanning? Yeah, as Scooby-Doo. I thought he was good. Pretty much all the time, it's Frank Welker who voiced in the cartoons, and then also in the cartoons, whatever, in the anime movies, it's Frank Welker who voiced Scooby-Doo. But I thought Neil Fanning, I thought he was very decent as a good voice of Scooby-Doo. And when the film came out, the film was a big hit when it came out. It made like $54 million in opening weekend, and worldwide, well, domestically 153, and worldwide 275 million worldwide. So it was a very big hit when it came out because people were looking forward to the Scooby-Doo movie. But critics has not been unfair to it though. Although people praise Shaggy, the critics praise Shaggy for his performance, which was good because he is perfect as Shaggy. But has a 5.1 IMDb and has a 30% Rotten Tomatoes, which that point I do understand because either people like this film or don't. So that's understandable, but I kind of like it. And as for the plot, how the film opens up, it opens up on this toy factory. How it opens in this toy factory, and you got the little Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? And they have the case of the Luna Ghost, which you see that shadow right there, that's the shadow of the Luna Ghost. Although that is a costume you do see in quick shot in one of the episodes of Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, where the Velma, she's like touring some people, the museum of all the costumes of the villains that they've unmasked. You do see the costume of the Luna Ghost, which was a callback to the movie, so that was cool. So yeah, the Luna Ghost, and you get like the typical stuff that happens like from the cartoon. Although I don't recall that Daphne didn't. She does get kidnapped like quite a few times in the show, but not too much. But I guess it's the thing because she does get kidnapped sometimes, but not all the time. And they have the trap, they mess up, and they end up catching the Luna Ghost. There's a lot of times that also happens in the cartoon when it's either by accident or a lot of times by accident or sometimes it's planned, whatever. But it's a lot of times it's by accident. And which, of course, with Shaggy's perfect as Matthew Lillard is perfect as Shaggy. Zoinks! They unmask the villain. You get appearance by Pamela Anderson, which is another callback from the show because like I said, it's Scooby-Doo at the movies where they meet celebrities to help them solve cases. So yeah, that's a callback for that. So that's why you get appearance by Pamela Anderson. So after which they argue, they have a little bit of disagreements, how things, and then they break up, and then it's 2 years later, and You have the song which I forget what the name of the song was though, but it's like, you know, it shows with Scooby and Shaggy are at the beach and they're in the Mystery Machine. And of course, it takes that play where at the times that a lot of people over the years, is Shaggy a stoner or is he not? You get that little play on that because like it shows the Mystery Machine. You see smoke coming out of the roof, and they're like laughing and coughing, which is kind of hinting at that point, if you know what I mean. But it's not. They're actually making eggplant. But to me, growing up, I never thought the character of Shaggy. I never thought he was a stoner, which I didn't. I just saw him as a fun character on the show, which, as to a lot of people who grew up or loved the show over the years, I'm sure like 90% of people, their favorite character was Shaggy. I know he was to me growing up, which that's why I praise Matthew Lillard a lot for his, because he was a perfect Shaggy, and I love the character of Shaggy, Norville Rogers. Which I know sometimes people like. I think he even like the character Shaggy. Sometimes like he doesn't like his real name, Norville. That's why he always prefers being called Shaggy, because he doesn't like his real name. But someone tells him that they're gonna invite to a place called Spooky Island, and Shaggy's like, "Oh, we don't go anywhere places that has the words spooky, creepy, forbidden in its name." But of course, they get convinced when it's a place where they can all you can eat, so they convince that because you know how much they love food all the time. So they meet the game. The whole gang makes up at the airport. Scooby dressing as a granny. They get to Spooky Island, which I thought was a good looking. It's for the production designs. Like there's a lot of good set pieces, like how the way Spooky Island is. So that's another good thing is the production value that's put into it. So to make a lot of practical stuff, like how like some of the signs on Spooky Island is, or where they're in that Spooky Castle ride. The production value in that is really well done. How they put effort to make this ride different, spooky looking. That's another praise I give to some of the effects. Although speaking with effects, I know that although the design of Scooby makes him look like Scooby-Doo, I appreciate how they kept making him look the design how he was from the cartoon. I do appreciate that though, but at the same time, the CGI from 2002, you see it nowadays, is not that good at all. The CGI is, I'm sorry to say, the CGI is it's not that good, and let alone when you get to those purple creatures that possess people. That is very shitty CGI. I'm saying that right now. Very, very shitty CGI. It was very, very cheap looking. Well, I think the CGI in Scooby is not that good though. But compared to when you see it as the purple creatures, whatever you call them, that is very shitty CGI. I give it that. I have to, because I'm sure no one will say, "Oh, that's a good CGI." Even from 2002, no. Even from 2002, that was still not. It was very shitty CGI. I have to still say that. Although the CGI on Scooby is not as good though, but not as where to compare how shitty the CGI was as the creatures were. So yeah, the effects and also the CGI. Oh, I'll get to that in a second there, but there's more to on the crappy CGI. They get to the island. They meet the owner, Emil Marnavarius, played by Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean himself. Which I wasn't really a big fan of Mr. Bean, honestly. I know from the movie Mr. Bean, and then the other one, Mr. Bean takes a vacation, whatever. But I wasn't a big Mr. Bean guy though. But Rowan Atkinson, but I did like when he voiced Zazu in the first Lion King movie. I liked him when he voiced Zazu in the original Lion King. What else? Well, I liked him in this though. Or the movie I reviewed a while back, The Witches. From the author of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. He was the owner of the hotel. He was the manager of the hotel. He was being like acting like a normal guy. He was like, "Come on, get the mice." Yeah, Mr. Stringer. That was his character's name, Mr. Stringer. Yeah, I liked him in that though, and here I thought he did a pretty good job. I would say Although I'm not the biggest Rowan Atkinson fan, though, but here I thought, especially Mr. Bean, but I thought he was pretty decent in this movie still. Although he wasn't as quirky or how he was in what was the film he did? Rat Race. That was the first time I saw Rowan Atkinson was in that film Rat Race. He was acting all quirky. He's a race. You know, he was acting all quirky and silly in that film though. But here he was acting a little more less quirky as he did in that film though. But I thought he still was decent in this movie. Still, Rowan Atkinson. The gang saying they're split doing their own little investigation. Like Sarah Michelle Gellar talks to this guy. It was actually Miguel Nunez Jr. Really enough, Miguel Nunez Jr. He was in Return of the Living Dead. He was in Friday the 13th Part 5. Leprechaun 4 in Space, which surprisingly he lived in that movie. Really enough, that surprised me. And Carnosaur 2. I tell you, it was cool to see Miguel Nunez Jr. in this. So. I liked him. Well, I liked him in the films he was in, like I said, Return of the Living Dead, Carnosaur 2. And really enough, he was one of the best parts in Leprechaun 4 in Space. Like that film was very crappy and laughable, but it surprised enough his character lived in that movie, which surprised me. So I like Miguel Nunez Jr. and it was cool to see him in this. He was like doing some voodoo magic on his own little thing. Then they go to the creepy castle, the spooky castle, the ride, and which was that the inside, the production value in that, the effects of it looks pretty well done, really good on the production sets on the ride. Then they find it's actually a brainwashing facility as well. And then of course to get to the biggest part for me, I'm sure that a lot of people do not like. If they don't, I don't blame them, which I do too. Even from back then when I first saw it as a kid, I'm like, really. I just hate the scenes. Like, okay, they split up and they get to the Scooby and Shaggy get to this part of the set, and then they're burping, and then the car Shaggy does like farting. Yeah, you just could have cut all that out. I hated. I still hated that scene. I still do. It's like, yeah, the characters you like growing up, you expect them to do that from the cartoon? No. I really hate they're farting. Even with still Michelle Gellar, she's like, oof, when she recurs into with her reaction, it's like, ugh. I still hated that. I still hate that scene. I should just cut that out. Still. And then they find this triangle called the Damon-ritis. Then those shitty CGI creatures attack the hotel. They take Fred and Velma, and then later in the morning they split up again, and like Daphne is walking, and you get an appearance from the band Sugar Ray. Which, if anyone who's a Sugar Ray nowadays, I don't blame you, because I mean, it's like those bands from back then. Think they're popular and hit like 5 minutes. It's like your 5 minutes of fame, and then you get forgotten about. That's what I felt about Sugar Ray. It's one of those bands that you forget about nowadays, that were like popular from back then, but nowadays you don't remember them. And if you don't remember them, I don't blame you for not remembering who Sugar Ray is. But although I back then I have heard of them. But they have appearance here. They're singing one of the songs is on the soundtrack. These words to me. She sings these words to me. Scooby and Shaggy, they find Fred. They find he's possessed. And it's like, boy, is Fred in a bad mood? He's not in a bad mood, Scoob. He's a monster. They got some bikes. They met this a girl named Shaggy met by the name of Mary Jane. It's actually played by what was it? Isla Fisher. Yeah, Isla Fisher. I've seen her in some other things. She was in films like, well, she voiced in she voiced the Tooth Fairy in Rise of the Guardians. That's where I remember her from, and she was also in The Wedding Crashers, The Wannabes, Hot Rod, Definitely Maybe, Rango. And that's why she voiced that character, that female character that Rango liked in the movie Rango. The character, her character, like when she also just like she's like freezes up. yeah, she voiced in that. So yeah, she was also in the Now You See Me, that film. Now You See Me with Jesse Eisenberg, Morgan Freeman, Woody Harrelson. Yeah, so Isla Fisher. She was the voice of the character named Mary Jane that Shaggy kind of liked, and Scooby-Doo sees her. She's also just like possessed by one of those creatures too, and they get into an argument. Scooby falls down, and then Shaggy goes after him. And this is why I think I one of the biggest things I think about. I think this is because to me, although they're all present here though, but to me I think it was also the Shaggy. He was like the star of the movie because he kind of pretty much saves the day for the most part, because he finds he goes after Scooby though, and he finds the protoplasms of the heads of the people who were taken, like the souls, you can say. He frees his friends Fred, Daphne, and Fred, Velma, gets the Damon-ritis, and which it wasn't for him, then the whole world would have been taken over, I should say, and saves them. And then later helps Scooby out towards the end, and then also he actually takes out, well, to get the Damon-ritis from the main villain. He's like, well, we'll get to that though. Well, I'm sure people have seen the film by now. You know what I'm talking about, but I don't know why I'm being so secretive about it. But I don't know why. Probably it's for people who hasn't seen the movie. Probably, yeah. If you haven't seen the movie, just stop right now and go watch it for yourself. So yeah, before I go into any more spoilers, but to any people who has not seen the movie, just go stop right here and just watch it before spoilers. I don't know why, but probably maybe people have seen the movie by now and knows what I'm talking about. But I see more. It's more Shaggy. He's the main star of the movie more than the other ones. Well, he's not in the other one though, but still, here he does pretty much. He's like the main hero of the movie. He says, "I always knew you were a hero, Shaggy." Then their friends get their bodies back. Of course, when the shitty CGI purple creatures, they are destroyed by sunlight. They get back together to try to save Scoob. Talk with Miguel Nunez Jr. again, and then they start making their plan. And, the whole setup in that ritual setup, and Scooby, he's been chosen as the sacrifice. Although he says that he didn't understand what a sacrifice was. So when he was talking with Rowan Atkinson, I want you to be a sacrifice, like a sacrifice, and he's like this, like he didn't understand what he was saying. And then what you find out, the reveal, the main villain is that Rowan Atkinson, he was actually a robot, but the real one, he was trapped down a hole though. But the real main villain is Scrappy-Doo, which I always thought that was a very good twist to make him the main villain. And that's why, and when he gets absorbed by the Damon-ritis, he becomes a giant, that's another what I mentioned before, the CGI. But he becomes like the giant CGI version of himself, more monster looking. That is also another along with those purple creatures, but the CGI of him when he was transformed into this giant monster dog, that's also not very good CGI as well. Not very good CGI. And then you get the song version of what was it? MXPX, that was it called. I always enjoy that version of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? Got some work to do now. I always enjoyed that version of the main theme of Scooby-Doo. And then speaking with Shaggy, although with Daphne she's fighting that wrestler up on the roof. It's like, now who's the damsel in distress? Me? Straight up. And protoplasm get the people in the bodies, whatever, and the creatures explode from that disco skull, you can say. And then, see what I said with Shaggy, not only he's like more sort of the hero because not only he freed his friends, their protoplasms. He even takes out Scrappy. He pulls out that using that grappler or whatever thing, and then just pulls of the Damon-ritis out of Scrappy, and he gets go back down to smaller size. So even Shaggy, he even takes. Not only he saves his friends, but he also takes out Scrappy-Doo as well. In which, of course, he wanted revenge because to get a flashback of them when they were driving. And, of course, you get another thing where Scrappy pees on Daphne. You didn't need that as well. You didn't need him to see him. We need to see Scrappy pee on Daphne. We need none of those fart or burping scenes. What was that? But yeah, he wanted revenge. Didn't only want to take over the world, but I guess the game because they didn't want him to be their leader. That's when they kicked him out. Yeah, but so it's mainly Shaggy who's like the main star, the main lead star of this film because he saves his friends, acted a little bit smarter, say, on helping out, and then he even takes out Scrappy-Doo, pulls the Damien Rice right out of him. You're like, dude, what? You're a bad puppy. And although you get a funny thing where when Scrappy was getting arrested, he's like, and he's like, I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for your meddling sons of, sons of, you know what I mean. and then ends with Scooby and Shaggy eating. They eat this hot peppers, and you see, ah! So yeah, Scooby-Doo. I still had fun. I still had fun with the movie. Still, I was glad I saw this back then when I was a kid. I had a lot of fun watching it back then. I still enjoy the film, despite even despite the fact you did not need the farts burping scene or Scrappy peeing on Daphne. You did not need that. Other than that, though, I think those are the main problems I have with it. I forgot to mention the shitty CGI. That still does not hold up well even to this day. Like with Scrappy and those purple creatures. I mean, the CGI in Scooby, for some reason, to me, it looked like it was less crappy CGI than compared to the other ones. So, yeah. But at least they got the design look. Him looking like Scooby-Doo compared to other ones, like from other different adaptations from other cartoons. At least they got his design right. And the director is actually directed by Raja Gosnell, which I do. The Smurf films I do like though, but from as time went on, I think that it's for the time I reviewed them, it's gone a little bit down though. I don't hate the Smurf movies. Because what got me kept on watching because I like Neil Patrick Harris, Jonathan Winters, rest in peace, as Papa Smurf, and some other things though. But I really watched which I also have right here. I even have the second film right here. I'd rather watch these over the Smurf movies. Although I do like Home Alone 3. That was a childhood film I also grew up watching. Home Alone 3, which that was Raja Gosnell's debut as a director. Never Been Kissed with Drew Barrymore. I haven't seen in a long time though. What was the one from 2018? I forget. What was it? Show Dogs. That was shit. That's his worst movie. Show Dogs. Yeah, with Will Arnett, and I forget what was the guy's name. Ludacris, from the Fast and Furious movies. Yeah, he voiced that dog. Yeah, Show Dogs. That was a big pile of crap. Yeah, I rather watch Scooby-Doo over Show Dogs if you want to do with subject of dogs. I forgot. Did he direct Beverly Hills Chihuahua? I think he did. Hold on. Let me double check. Yeah, he did direct Beverly Hills Chihuahua. I forgot he directed that. Yeah, Show Dogs. That was crap. Yeah, the Smurf movies. Yours, Mine, and Ours. That was the 2005 remake of the older one with Dennis Quaid and Rene Russo. Did not care for that film at all. Yeah, you could say that. He directed Big Mama's House with Martin Lawrence. I didn't care for that either. So yeah, Raja Gosnell, he's a hit and miss director for the most part though. Like, I like the Scooby-Doo movies. I like Home Alone 3. I can't say about Never Been Kissed because I haven't watched them forever, so I can't judge on that one. But Yours, Mine, and Ours, did I care for. Show Dogs was crap. That's his worst movie. Beverly Hills Chihuahua, I like Jamie Lee Curtis. Piper Barapo, she was alright. The voice actor is like Drew Barrymore, Andy Garcia. I like. Although I do admit that the most part of the dogs were mostly real dog, except for the mouth movements, instead of CGI for the most part. So, but yeah, you can see that Raja Gosnell, he's a hit and miss though. But for the most part, there's a lot of movies I like. It's the Home Alone 3, the Scooby-Doo movies, the Smurfs. Well, although it's been declined by interest of the Smurf films. The only reason I said I keep on watching is for like Neil Patrick Harris and Jonathan Winters. I know the Smurf films are not great. I know that. I know they're not great movies. Which I'd rather watch this over this than the Smurfs movies. But I thought for what he did for this film, I thought he was very decent. And I forgot that both these movies were written by James Gunn. James Gunn wrote on both the Scooby-Doo movies years before Guardians of the Galaxy. Although he also within the same year 2004, which on the second Scooby-Doo film, he wrote on Dawn of the Dead as well. Yeah, but I forgot that James Gunn was involved with these. Because he wrote these movies. And apparently, I forgot that they want to make this very darker and R-rated version of Scooby-Doo. Which nowadays, to me, I'll be interested to see that. But I know Scooby-Doo is a cartoon that's like for kids, and part of me is like didn't have to be R-rated. Although I would be interested in seeing. Part of me would be interested in the other seeing it as an R-rated version. Although there was the closest was like more adult like was when the Scooby-Doo and the Gang, the cartoon, made a cameo appearance in one of the episodes of Supernatural. Remember, there were two characters got sucked into the world of Scooby-Doo. But I would like to see. Part of me would like to see an R-rated Scooby-Doo version of that. But I enjoy the Scooby-Doo movie. I always have since I was a kid. I grew up loving the show. I enjoyed the movie when I saw it back in the theaters. As to the cast, like I said, especially a star of it, Matthew Lillard, he was excellent, perfect as Shaggy. Like. Linda Cardellini as Velma, she was good. Like I said, Freddie Prinze Jr. as Fred. I thought for what he was, he still was very decent as well. Same with Michelle Gellar. It was cool to see Rowan Atkinson, Miguel Nunez Jr. Isla Fisher, an actress I just wasn't that big on though. Appearance by Pamela Anderson as well. But for the effects, for the most part, like I said, very shitty CGI. Well. The design of Scooby was still good too, but not good CGI though. Like some of the production sets, some good practical stuff on the production sets. The soundtrack, which was what I liked, and the score by David Newman, I thought was overall still fine. It's a short movie. It's only without end credits, 86 minutes. But yeah, the film was a big hit still, and that's why I got this. They made the sequel, which came out in 2004. So yeah, Scooby-Doo, which actually really enough, forgot to mention, like when I got this for my birthday, which is why I enjoy the film so much. I forgot to mention this because I got this because I did show on my birthday, vlog. If I get this out. How can I forget when I showed this on the birthday vlog, so. But just to show it again. Yeah. When I said I got the poster. Which I gotta get framed, so. Yeah. But I still enjoy this film. But it's like I got the poster of it, so as I show that on my birthday vlog. So how can I forget if I'm talking about the movie? How can I not show the poster? But that's my review. That's my review for Scooby-Doo. I still enjoy it till this day. Seeing as being a big fan of the show. I don't know why. Is it doing the lighting? I do apologize if you see it's big. My hardest in my face was big dark. There it goes. Sometimes it brightens up, Sometimes it goes dark just like that. So I'm sorry if you see it going dark like this. If you notice, because it's probably due to because it's in broad daylight. You know, that's what happens a lot of times. It was in daylight, kind of messes up the lighting here. Either when I'm getting close like this, or when I get back, it gets darker. If anyone noticed it, every time when I try to do this in daylight. But regardless of that, hope you enjoyed my review for Scooby-Doo. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for my review of the sequel later.